All right.
So,
We're
here.
Mm-hmm.
We are at the top of 2026 right now, which means that we have officially had our first annual Love Songs on Sunday Wellness Festival.
Yeah. Love Songs on Sunday.
Yes.
It took some time for it to come together into the festival form, but
for sure.
We made it. We went through
it. We did. We started. Dang, Court, what year was it when we initially made contact and started bringing the vision to life? Was that 21 or 22?
2021. 2026 now.
Is that 5 years?
Well, last year was 2025, so it was 4 years into the making of Love Songs on Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
And now we're 5 years in.
Wow. And y'all know 5 is the number of change and transformation. And I can say that I felt you could see the evolution, and it was a beautiful, beautiful experience. But before we get into recapping the first Love Songs on Sundays, we got to talk about 2021. We got to talk about 2022. So, Corb, you got to start us off because it was ultimately your vision at first.
It was a vision that came to mind, but it's crazy because it came from me just trying to step outside my comfort zone, do something different. Going to do some meditation, over at the Aqualon House in Portsmouth. And that's when I meet you, and I didn't even know who you were. I didn't know what role you were going to play in my life, but I came into that room and I knew that energy in that room was just something different. It was something special. And I got in there, so much, the peacefulness, you led us through meditation. It's something I had never done in a group setting. I had been doing it individually for a long time, but in a group setting. And that's just what kind of set it off. Like, once I felt the spirit of the room, I just knew it was like something here is magical that we got to spread throughout the world, though. It's like, this can't just stay quiet. We can't just keep this local. We got to give this to the people. Like, this is a tool that the world needs, and that's when I spoke to you, that you know who I was, and just we made that connection, and we just let it organically just kind of grow. Yeah. But we did a podcast that year.
We did I forgot. Oh, that's crazy. That is crazy. We're going to have to clip back and forth between that one to this one.
Yeah.
But I'm glad Corb said that, because that I always skip past that first moment and just think about him reaching out saying, hey, I'm putting this event together. I want you to come do the meditation, giving me the background and everything like that. But I forget about that initial meeting. And I didn't realize that this was even the same person when Corbin reached out to ask me to do the meditation for care more over self-love, self-care more on Sundays then. I didn't realize this was the same guy that came to the Aqualon House that night. But I remembered that night and him coming up to me afterwards and saying, I really felt peaceful. Thank you for what you did. And I remember going home to my friend at night and being like, yeah, this real rough around the edges guy came up to me after the meditation. I didn't even think he was going to enjoy it, because I don't know if you remember when he first came in, he was like, so what we about to do?
Yeah. I didn't really understand y'all all sitting down with Max. There's only one other guy in the room. I'm like, I don't know really what's going on. Somebody has told me about it. I didn't even just stumble across. Somebody told me about it, and I was like, all right, I'm gonna just find my way. And I went by myself. Yeah. So, I felt kind of awkward just stepping in there. Y'all talking, engaging with each other. I knew nobody. But y'all really made me feel at home when I got in there. Like, you cool. You in a safe space, though.
Yeah. I'm glad. Yeah, Corp still had his work clothes on and everything. So I was like, yeah, you could tell. But I could tell even from then, I was like, this guy take care of a lot of people. I felt that energy. That energy was coming not just from you, but from a lot of people in that room. And I think that's why the meditation, one of my gifts is being able to pick up on the energy in the spot and tailoring the meditation for that. And I think that's probably why it was so impactful. Mm-hmm. So Corb helped me get out of some fearful experiences I was having with trying to step out there more and show my gift, but kind of just feeling naked in front of a bunch of people. That's a very vulnerable place to put yourself in. I make it look easy, but it's not easy. So
I see now, but at that moment it was you were definitely shining. It was something like, hey, I gotta make contact with this person. I don't know what vision's gonna come from this, but let me just make contact, tell them who I am. And I don't remember. I guess I might have. Yeah, I followed you on social media. Mm-hmm. So you were the only yoga meditation, wellness practitioner that I knew at that time. Like, I was not in this lane. I wasn't in this life. It wasn't nothing that I knew about already. It was just like, let me reach out. Once I got the vision of what I wanted to kind of put together, because I was already doing, community events,
mm-hmm.
but majority of them were for children. But I noticed it being a pattern. Well, I noticed for myself, I was dealing with a lot as an adult, you know, and then having children, work on having a business, and just, you know, just trying to figure things out. I was like, okay, I'm doing so much for the children, but something came over me like, let's put something together for the adults. Let's see what we can be able to do to be able to offer for the entirety of the community, not just the children. So when that vision came together for the self-care more on Sunday, I guess, self-care more on Sunday, it was like, all right, well, we're gonna have some vendors. I knew that was one. We're gonna have some vendors. We want to get some wellness vendors, people who offer holistic tools, you know. And then I was like, okay, well, let's add the meditation, because that was the only thing that I knew of that was, you know, a healing tool, really. So I reached out to you, and from there it just kind of just grew. Because I think the first one, it was just meditation and the.
Was it a live performance the first time? Or was it the second? Was the second?
The second one, yeah,
okay.
Yeah, because it was so much of a spiritual experience. Like, it reminded me of church. And I said, we gotta add some music.
Yeah,
we gotta add some music. So we added the music with it as well. You know, I think later we added the ganja hour.
Yeah. That was the time. If we think about how it started, and then we had to all kind of go inward for a while. Everybody kind of had to go like on their own separate paths, because I think we was doing so much healing work and not realizing it consciously because of probably that I felt like it was time to actually start implementing all this beautiful energy we was collectively doing for an hour or two as a group. And so God was like, okay, go ahead and get still and make this lifestyle. You know what I'm saying? So I only say it that way because I don't see nothing wrong with ganja, but I think it served a purpose for a time.
It did. So, it did. It was, you know, it was part of that point in my life anyway.
Yeah.
You know? The whole event, it started off so great, and we just continued on for it started in November of 21, and then we continued until the last event was, I think, July of 2022.
August. Might have been August. Was it August?
We did Made in Norfolk in July. What was the last one we did? Made in Norfolk. Okay, yeah. So we did the last one in July, and then we did because I had the comedy festival in August, I think.
That's right.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So that technically ended it.
Yeah. Okay. So what was that 7-8 months? 8 month span, and then like you said, then it caused us like, all right, we did so much together. We learned so much. Yeah. What you gonna do with all this you learned? You know, now you have to go inward. You're not gonna have these same friends or associates or people just constantly showing up. Now you got to show up for yourself.
Yeah.